Welcome to the channel. Today we're in Wales in Monmouthshire. We're just outside Caerwent in Chepstow, just outside the East Gate. I'll just show you the information board briefly. Of course we're heading to another church, which I understand the grounds anyhow, if not the church, are possibly among the oldest in the country. Certainly in Wales, I think it said. Anyways, let's head up towards the church. There we go, a bit of a view of the church. It's a bit hidden from this side. So this is the parish church of St Stephen's and St Tathan's Church in Caerwent. Let's see if we can get in. I think before we go inside this church, we'll go around the other side. The tower is quite interesting. It's quite thin at the waist, I would say. Here's the area we're in, which is quite splendid. If you have to be buried anywhere, you might as well be buried here. That's a strange grave, isn't it? Death seems but a covered way, which opens into light. Individual in life and death, I think. Interesting how the tower looks fatter from this side. Delicate stonework. This seems to be called Paulina stone. The inscription on the larger carved stone below is one of the most important to have been found in Roman Britain. Besides giving details of the mixed military and civil career of a Roman governor, it also throws light on the local civil administration, a self-governing community of conquered natives. The stone was the base to a statue. The inscription was originally of 12 lines, but the first line of Latin text has been lost. It reads, "To Tiberius Claudius Paulinus, once commander of the 2nd Augustan Legion, proconsul of the province of Gallia Narbonensis, now imperial governor of the province of Lugdunensis, by decree of the Council of the Community of the States of the Silures." Apologies for my pronunciation. So Tiberius was commandant of the 2nd Augustan Legion at Caerwent during the reign of Caracalla in AD 220. After serving in Gaul, he became governor of Britannia Inferior, the more northerly of the two provinces into which Britain had been divided at the beginning of the 3rd century. Before he became governor, Paulinus evidently performed some helpful act or made some gift to the Silures, for which they honoured him by erecting a statue. The inscription tells us that the Silures, the native tribe of southeast Wales conquered by the Romans, were administered by council or ordo, which could pass decrees, since the erection of the statue was an act of the tribal council on behalf of the whole of the Silures rather than just the town of Venta. It clearly demonstrates that a Roman civitas for native peoples should be seen as an area of territory with the town in the middle, rather than as a town with territory around it, as a colonia for Roman citizens would have been. The stone was found in Caerwent in 1903 It had been reused as part of a post-Roman construction of heavy blocks in the centre of the village, where the war memorial now stands. The altar in the alcove right was excavated of a house in Caerwent. The inscription reads, "To the god Mars, Ocellus, alias Augustinus, Optio willingly and deservedly fulfilled his vow." Alias Augustinus was a sub-centurion, Optio, no doubt from Carlian. Mars, Ocellus, was a particularly English, if not a Silurian deity, a good example of the fusion of beliefs which often occurred when native deities could be identified with the Roman equivalents. Religion in Roman Britain was a mixture of both native and imported ideas. Roman gods and goddesses such as Jupiter, Mars, Minerva, and Venus were worshipped side by side with Celtic deities, which are usually concerned with the powers of nature. The altar is of typical form with a small hollow on top for the scarificial fire. It would have been erected in response to the outcome of a vow to the god, possibly to ensure a victory or recovery from disease or some such event. I certainly wasn't expecting to see that. Perhaps this is a bit of an old porch, because you can see the new porch above it. Oh, the light's back on again. I tried to keep still whilst I'm lining up these shots, and whilst I was doing so, the light had gone off. Right, let's see if we can get in. It really feels so quiet in here. If only I could gather it in some vessel. And bring it home. There are some decorations on the inside of the pulpit, but I don't know how well that's showing up on this camera. Not too well, I think. I can see it just about. Still, we can enjoy the view from the pulpit. Under the central aisle area, now boarded over lies a memorial stone, the inscription on which has become eroded over time, but as at 2018 it read as follows: in memory of Elizabeth, wife of Charles Parry, deceased, June year 14, 1757, aged 27 years. My husband, dear friend, it was from you I was, for why Lord was pleased to cut me off in my prime, therefore for me no longer, but love my dear child. The letter Y in lines 3 and 6 are presumed to mean the. The rows with the X's are where the erosion is so great that it is impossible to decipher. The decorated ironwork where people kneel for communion is very interesting, I find, though I wonder why they chose that. Actually, I think the cross as well is very striking. That's a lovely shape. It seems to have branches coming out of the centre. I'm just looking at these simple bosses that adorn the roof. As we walk towards the light, an interesting bit of Roman flooring, I think. This here appears to relate to soldiers who fought in the First World War from this area. Be nicely created. A view from the congregation. These Roman sculptures came to light in 1900 and 1911 during building works at the church. 4 of the blocks bear floral motifs, while a small bird can be seen perched on a leaf on one of the large blocks. They may have come from a frieze from a freestanding monument, possibly associated with the Roman public baths situated to the east of the church. A Roman cinerary urn containing human remains placed here in 1912. It's interesting that this is a backdrop to their kitchen. There's the gloves. That's an interesting picture in the kitchen above the Roman sculptures. Having clearly got rid of most of the original benches, it's nice that they've incorporated aspects of it into the kitchen. Toilets in the bell tower, I think. I was trying to take a decent picture of the font, but as you can see, it's surrounded by various things, so it's not possible to. And I quite like the woodworking and the detailing in the middle here, which seems to reflect some of the pews in some way. Just as I was leaving this church, my son remarked on the porch here, which he said was really interesting. It's got these central doors and there's some cogs and rope above. When they shut this, it clearly swivels to shut the area, which is fascinating. I hadn't realised it when I walked through. He's very good at spotting that sort of thing. He's not so interested in looking at the churches himself like I am. I just looked at this, but I don't know if I can read it though. I've also just noted this detailing of the lion and the decoration along the line of the roof. There was a man standing by it when I passed towards the church, but on the way that was in that direction, there was this Roman building that's been preserved by Caddo, which is Welsh heritage, which I'm actually a member of, even though I'm English. So I thought I'd just include that. Thank you for exploring the church with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.